Hi guys, it's Michelle, Deception Bytes, and it is August 10th at 7:54 p.m. Eastern Time. Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm looking forward to tonight, to this recording. Not sure why, but I just am, and hope you're all doing really well this evening. Now, I'm picking up from where I left off in the last video, and that was with August 7th. We left off with August 7th, and we finished those. And August 8th, there were no posts from Q. There was one post on August 9th, which we're going to be going over now, and then we'll be proceeding to August 10th's post. And Q has been, posting quite prolifically today, and it's been a little bit of a strange Q day. We'll get into why that is in a minute, but attacks are getting very, very fierce. They're intensifying greatly. Now, I know my last video was heavily censored. Not sure why, not sure what it was in my video that kind of raised a red flag to them, but they censored it. And they also retroactively censored another video that I did, and it was about the pedophiles and so forth. And of course, I was only reporting things that were in the news, but now they're saying that they need to put a warning on it that no one under the age of, I think, 18 or something like that can view it, which is ridiculous because it was available in news and articles online. So just another example of the heavy censoring that's going on for conservative voices. And I don't see that changing really soon. Anyway, I would love to be able to say otherwise, but I think it's getting worse instead of better. I think it's getting much worse. So I am going to be, over the next week, I need to be setting up some different channels so that if mine goes down, that you'll know where to go to get my videos. And I will let you know before I do that if anything should happen. I am on Twitter. I'm under gosh, you know what? I'm not even sure. I'm going to have to check my Twitter. Isn't that awful? I don't tweet that much, but I do follow people a lot. And I find it very, very useful for that. But Twitter itself is getting the same way. So I doubt I'd be able to post much on Twitter either without getting shadow banned. But anyway, enough of my whining and complaining, and let's get started. Now, this first post on August 9th is basically it's a sampling of hit pieces on Devon Nunes from the past 24 hours. Now, of course, this is the past 24 hours as of August 9th. And, 4 a.m. secure drop for Mockingbird Media. That's where all of these come from. And I think that we all are very aware of that. I don't know how anybody can discredit that at this point because they're all so similar. I just think of myself and, having just finished my master's, I know, sometimes you'll be given an essay topic that you have to do an essay on, but everyone in the class, their essays are so different because within that topic are a lot of subtopics and a lot of ways to approach it. And a story is the same thing. If you have completely independent news, the way they approach a story will be completely different. And they may not find that one story is worth reporting on. It may not interest them to report on it, or they may not see it as big news, whereas another may. But why is it that all of the major news networks report on the same stories every day? And why is it that there's very little variance between them? You would really, more or less, think that they were written by the same person. And that is because they're all receiving a 4 a.m. drop from the Mockingbird media. I mean, it's coming from the CIA to the Mockingbird media. Those people in the media that are part of that, and which is, I would assume, all of the main people that we would see on a regular basis. I would assume that they are part of it. I don't know, but I would assume because everything, all of the news seems to be cookie cutter. They're just cookie cutter copies of one another, basically, with a few paragraphs switched around or whatever. You really wouldn't know looking at them. Because I read a lot, I can sometimes, without even looking at the name, tell who I'm reading because I know their style. You know what I mean? Like Ernest Hemingway, he writes a lot different than, say someone else in the same genre and the same, media than other people. So what I don't understand is all of these people are different and yet they're writing stories exactly the same. Now, there is a way to approach a news story that's, but still, I don't see any individuality there. And I think that you guys will say the same thing. So I'm going to stop flapping my gums about that. And I'm going to go to a few examples and then I'm just going to read some of the headlines because it will take us forever to get through all these because Q has given us a huge pile of examples. All right, so let's get started. Okay, in leaked recording, key House Republican suggests GOP must keep House to protect Trump from Mueller. All right, now, not sure if I'm just going to read the first paragraph or so. In a newly leaked audio recording, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, a California
House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes, in private, confirming Democrats' long-standing.
You guys have been telling me, and I appreciate this, I really appreciate this, that when the desktop is playing something, that it's extremely loud in your ears. So I'm going to try to fix that because I certainly don't want to be, you're there and you're listening and all of a sudden, you're blasted out of your chair. So I'm going to fix that. Anyway, in a newly leaked audio recording, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, a Californian Republican, suggests that his party needs to retain control of the House of Representatives to protect Donald Trump from special counsel Robert Mueller. If Attorney General Jeff Sessions won't unrecuse and Mueller won't clear the president, we're the only ones, which is really the danger. We have to keep all these seats. Nunes can be heard saying on a recording from a private fundraiser aired by MSNBC on the Rachel Maddow show. Oh, well, there is a really, unbiased show right there, the Rachel Maddow show. On Wednesday, we have to keep the majority. Now, the remarks appear to be a blunt assessment from Nunes, a top Trump ally in Congress who Democrats accuse of trying to help the White House with the Russia probe, that Republicans must keep their House majority in the midterm election to shield Trump from the special counsel investigation. Well, they do need to keep their majority, but that is not really why. So let's go back, see what else we have. We got like a whole grab bag of things here from Q. And then there's this. And I guess it's walking here instead of being transmitted over the wires because it's slow. Still walking. We need to buy it some running shoes. Not sure what's up with that, but... And then there's banquet room warning of danger by Devin Nunes if GOP loses Congress. Really the same article, just, worded a little bit differently. In one sentence, Devin Nunes proved his critics right. Devin Nunes just tied, hang on here. Oh, it's like you have to pay for everything now. All right, let's see what else we have here. I'm just going to go to a couple more and then I'm going to just read the headlines because this is tedious and probably excruciatingly boring. Ex-CIA analyst Phil Mudd explodes over Devin Nunes admitting he'll protect Trump regardless of collusion facts. There you go. I guess we have to read it fast before they, jump in and make you pay. Okay, and then there's this one. Finally, Devin Nunes admits what his charade is all about. Seems similar to other ones that we've looked at, doesn't it? And just one moment, I have someone calling, but my phone is vibrating, but I will, if you hear something, that's what it is, but I will ignore it because you are more important. Now let's take a look at this. Secret recording shows Nunes saying Rosenstein impeachment would delay Supreme Court pick. Not sure how that would be, but anyway, let's go and we'll speed this up a little bit. Yeah, apparently they're saying the secret recording shows Nunes saying Rosenstein impeachment would delay Supreme Court pick. And then this one says Devin Nunes and terrible, horrible, no good, very bad summer. Okay, I like that one. I like that headline. I mean, it's, it's obviously a bunch of bunk, but it's a good headline. You gotta admit. Where was that again? Devin Nunes and terrible, horrible, no good, very bad summer. So there you go. And Nunes' leaked audio reveals House plans to impeach Rod Rosenstein. And then look at this. This is a Twitter, so let's go and look at this because this might be kind of interesting. Or not. I can't promise you. Under our Constitution, the duty of Congress is not to clear the president. The duty of Congress is to be a check and balance on the executive branch and to pursue the facts wherever they may lead. Devin Nunes should resign for perverting the oath he took. In this part of the secret audio, Devin Nunes flatly admits that the reason it's so important for House Republicans to keep their majority is because we're the only ones left to shield Trump if Sessions won't unrecuse and Mueller won't clear the president. And that's according to Maddow. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Now, let's look at a few more here. And then there's Scott Dworkin. It's time for Speaker Ryan to remove Devin Nunes from the Intel Committee and then force him to resign for being one of the biggest traitors that's ever been in Congress. Retweet if you agree. Then listen to the Nunes tape in a new Dworkin report below. Maybe not. Yeah. All right, and we're going to go back here and we're going to just look at another one because I'm finding these a little bit amusing, to say the least. Andrew Jantz, apparently Devin Nunes, has been going around calling himself a farmer, even though he doesn't even own a farm. First, there were fake memos. Now, he's a fake farmer. Hashtag fake farmer. Like, really? Like, with everything that's happening, that's what you're concentrating on? Seriously? Okay. All right. Well, I guess we all have to have priorities. Let's look at another. These are a little amusing. I'm sorry if you're not as amused as I. Doesn't take a lot to amuse me. Here are the transcripts and clips Rachel Maddow mentioned in tonight's opening segment on the secret recordings of Devin Nunes. Now, I have not listened to these, but I will. Secret recording shows GOP's Nunes saying Rosenstein impeachment would ... I'm not going to go out to NBC News. So anyway. This is, according to Q, an all-out attack on Devin Nunes. And I have no reason to disbelieve Q. Not at this point. I have not seen where he has misled us in the past, and And I am paying attention, because if we are misled, I will be the first to admit, you know what, we were misled. And I will apologize profusely for having taken part in that, because right now I do believe that what we're being told by Q, for whatever reason, is correct. And I don't believe that it is a LARP. It is far too elaborate to be that. Under Republican control, important committees such as Chairman Devin Nunes' House Intelligence Committee have become scraping, sniveling, panting, pathetic tools of the executive branch. Oh, that's good. Scraping, sniveling, panting, pathetic tools of the executive branch. Only Democratic control can drain this particular swamp. Oh, is that right, Michael Gerson? Right. It's the Democrats that's going to fix everything and drain the swamp. Right. The Democrats are the swamp. Well, they're not really, because there are Republicans as well that are dirty dealers. And there are. I'm not about to say that there aren't, because that would be grossly unfair and untruthful. But let's go and see the next one, because I'm being entertained, and that's the important thing, really. Not really, but... Oh, and here's Native American Elizabeth Warren, and House Pocahontas. And don't any Native Americans send me hate mail, because I am a Native Canadian, Native American, same thing. So... Anyway, I know I don't look it, and I most certainly do not look it, but if you saw my dad's side of the family, you would see. So, House Intel Chairman and Trump coddler-in-chief at Devin Nunes is one of Washington's most ethically challenged Republicans. Chip in here to help this Democratic challenger at Jans for Congress beat him in November. Not a chance. I would rather dig my eyes out with spoons. But that's just me. Now, let's go to the next one. It's time for @Speaker Ryan to remove Devin Nunes from the Intel Committee and then force him to resign for being one of the biggest traitors that's ever been in Congress. Retweet if you agree. That must be in there twice, because, I guess there's two different people that have tweeted this. This is the Democratic Coalition. Nunes tapes in a new Dworkin report. I hear a siren out there. And you probably can too. They're probably coming for you. What did you do? All right. Oh, and here's Vanity Fair. This, yeah. Captured on a secret recording, Devin Nunes says the quiet part out loud. Behind closed doors, Trump's allies acknowledge that the election is about protecting the president from impeachment. Impeachment from what? Nobody says what they want him impeached for, because there are no impeachable offenses. Believe me, I don't think anybody in the history of the world has been looked at as closely as Donald Trump. Really. I think there are so many people trying to find so much dirt on him that if they haven't found something to impeach him for now, they're not going to. That's just my opinion. But it's a good one, and I'm sticking to it. Of all the Republican members of Congress willing to espouse the views of Donald Trump, Devin Nunes is perhaps in the best position to do so. The House Intelligence Committee chairman has essentially leveraged his position into a potent political weapon against the FBI, the Department of Justice, and the U.S. intelligence community, brandishing a bogus memo as proof of intelligence abuses, feeding the hungry far-right conspiracy mill, and bolstering the president's claim that Robert Mueller's investigation into the Trump campaign is a witch hunt. The California congressman has always had a cozy relationship with Trump. he was forced to recuse himself from the Russian probe after he was accused of sharing classified information with the White House. At the time, he denied he'd broken any ethic rules, but that hasn't stopped him from declaring that his committee, unlike its Democratic counterparts, uncovered no evidence of collusion. But in audio obtained by MSNBC, Nunes laid out the true danger behind Mueller's probe and the reason he and his House cronies must continue to cast aspersions on the special counsel if Attorney General Jeff Sessions won't unrecuse and Mueller won't clear the president. We're the only ones, he told a group of donors during a July fundraiser for Representative Kathy McMorris Rodgers' re-election, which is really the danger. I mean, we have to keep all these seats. We have to keep the majority. If we do not keep the majority, all this goes away. Well, yeah, you can see. It's so painfully obvious what they're doing, and they're the only ones that are fooled. I mean, well, that's not true, because they do fool people. And I know that because I have people all the time just mindlessly mouthing back to me what the mainstream media is saying. And it boggles my mind. But I don't know. There are a lot of people that believe it. And let's see what this says. Secret recording shows GOP Nunes saying Rosenstein impeachment would delay Supreme Court pick. Well, that sounds like other headlines that we've heard just in the last few minutes. And what else is this? Yeah, I think that's it. And really, I really don't... Oh, no, it isn't. Sorry. Oh, my gosh. Good gracious, look at all these. I'm not going to go through all these. I don't think Q means for us to read all these. I think he's digging all this up so he can show us. It's all the same. It's all a big attack. And right now, the bullseye is on Nunes. Nunes on leaked audio. Rosenstein hasn't been impeached because of timing. Okay, and what else? I want to make sure we get a good... Nunes mocks Fuhrer over secret tape comments as left-wing media spin. Oh, well then what is it if it's not left-wing media spin? That's all we've got left anymore is left-wing media spin. Because any true media is being censored. Just saying. Just saying. Sorry, you can probably hear me gulping my water, but that's just the way it is. I'm sorry. Nunes mocks Fuhrer over secret tape comments as left-wing media spin. Politico, Devin Nunes, secret recording, Trump midterms. USA Today, Devin Nunes, audio protecting Trump Rosenstein impeachment timing. Huffington Post, Devin Nunes, Rosenstein, Kavanaugh. MSNBC, Rachel Maddow show. Terms exclusive, Devin Nunes speak can't. Oh, here we go. I don't know what it says. Sometimes the hang on. All right. Devin Nunes speaks candidly at fundraiser, and what does this say? And we don't want to watch that. And we've already seen this. If Sessions won't unrecuse and Mueller won't clear the president, we're the only ones, which is really the danger. We have to keep all these seats. We have to keep the majority. If we do not keep the majority, all of this goes away. Same story. Devin Nunes, GOP needs to keep the House to protect Trump from Mueller. The Hill, Nunes suggested at private fundraiser that Republican majority is needed too. And Business Insider, leaked audio, Russia investigation, Trump, Republicans, midterms. Devin Nunes, leaked audio, Maddow, collusion, crime, Trump. Washington Examiner, Devin Nunes blames Rosenstein impeachment delay on Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination. Daily Caller, Maddow, Devin Nunes, Trump. New York Post, Nunes secretly recorded at fundraiser. We have to protect Trump from Mueller. And Mediate.com, GOP's Devin Nunes in leaked audio says Trump tweets make him cringe. There you are. And, all of this, the shadow banning, the kicking off of Facebook, the kicking off of Twitter and, what else? Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, and just all the censorship that's going on, even in the Google, results and everything like that. All of that is about the midterms. It's all about the midterms. That's what this is about. Coordinated effort to silence, remove. Notice a pattern? Well, actually, yes, I do. Echo chamber conspiracy? These people are sick. Yes, they are. Now, let's go. Sorry about that. I hit the table that my microphone is on. Eradicate. It's a good word. It's as good a word as any. Eradicate. To do away with as completely as if pulling up by the roots. Programs to eradicate illiteracy. To pull up by the roots. So, eradicate was our word of the day on 2/10/2015. Well, there you go. It's as good a word as any. Eradicate. All right, let's go back to, wow, look. Isn't that cute? All right, now, this is a little odd because it says these people are sick. And then it gives us the dictionary definition of eradicate. And then underneath it says U.S. Air Force B-52 precision bombs. So what are these U.S. Air Force B-52 precision bombs trying to eradicate? I don't know. And if you guys know or you have any idea, please put it in the comments below, because we do glean a lot of information, all of us, from the comments. I do, and they also make me laugh a lot of times, and I need to laugh. Because when you're going through all this stuff, it can get a little bit heavy and depressing, and I'm sure that you guys find that as well. That's why I don't always report on this as, seriously as I should, because it's overwhelming. It really is. And I think if I didn't have a sense of humor, I think I'd be dead. I really do, because not just all this stuff, but everything else added to it. So, I'm not sure exactly what he's saying there, but let's go on, because we're going to get to some interesting stuff here. And we are on to today's post. And there's a lot in it, as you can see by my red writing here. Now, this was today. Well, actually, no, this was on August 9th. What is today? It's August 10th. Hang on. I guess, when does August 10th start? I guess this is all from August 9th. Dang it. Okay. All right. Well, I was mistaken there. There was 3 posts from August 9th that I had missed. And I do apologize, but we're getting to them now, and that's the important thing. All right. Now, spy op. White House. Hussein. Now, what Q is saying here is this is the White House under Obama, okay? The White House under Obama. Valerie Jarrett, Dennis McDonough, Joe Biden. Where's Joe Biden? Joe Biden's right here. This is Dennis McDonough. JB, Joe Biden. RE is Rahm Emanuel. JK is John Kerry. SP is Samantha Power. And KM is Karen Mills. And this is the flow of information goes from these people And notice that John Kerry has a triple kill box. And that's interesting, if you ask me. So does that mean that he is the most important? In terms of, is he the most guilty? I don't know. But there's 3 square brackets around him and only 1 around the others, which is odd to me. So the White House under Obama, the information flowed from Obama, Valerie Jarrett, Dennis McDonald, Joe Biden, Rahm Emanuel, John Kerry, Samantha Power, Karen Mills, and it flowed to Hillary and the DNC, and it flowed back. So it flowed both ways here because you can see the little arrow, it's pointing this way and this way. So information was flowing both ways here. Under Obama's White House, they were obviously backing Hillary for president, and so information was going to Hillary and the DNC. Now, this line, and of course the black, whatever's written in black is from Q, whatever's written is in red is mine, and so C-A is CIA. So in the CIA, under Obama, it was John Brennan and 5 others. Now, this is what I believe that this is saying, okay? He says C blank A, and then he has in kill brackets JB, class 1 to 5, and then he has NSA dash play reveal TT. Okay, well, this is what I think that means. CIA's John Brennan, and 5 others, their names and identifications remain classified, okay, classified 1 to 5. But they're all from the CIA. John Brennan and 5 others, names and the IDs have been classified from the CIA, had Trump Tower under surveillance. TT, Trump Tower, I would assume that's what that means. From the CIA, had Trump Tower under surveillance. The NSA revealed to Trump that he was being spied on. So John Brennan here, classified as along with, like from the CIA, these are all CIA right here. You can see the kill bracket around here and here, and you can tell that these are included in this. So it's the CIA, John Brennan, and 1 to 5, or 5 other people that are classified. Their names are classified. And it could be classified because they're doing undercover. I don't know, but at any rate, the names and IDs are classified, and they're from the CIA. These are the people that were spying on Trump, and they had Trump Tower under surveillance. But the NSA, God bless their little souls, revealed to Trump that he was being spied on because they played revealed Trump Tower. That's how I would decode that. If you have other ideas, you can let me know, but I'm pretty confident of that. And then DNI, and within that you've got James Clapper. Okay, now that's the Department of National Intelligence. So they also played a part in this, and I assume that since it's pointing up here that these people also, okay? So perhaps this is arranged hierarchically so that it was, Obama's White House that did it, but under Obama it was the CIA, it was the DNI, it was the DOJ. Okay, that makes sense to me that this is hierarchically, but I could be incorrect. But anyway, this is DNI. JC is James Clapper, Department of National Intelligence, James Clapper. Now, in terms of the DOJ, excuse me, those who were involved were Loretta Lynch, Sally Yates, Bruce Orr, and Christopher Steele. And it says, excuse me for a minute. Okay, we've got DOJ here, and the DOJ stops, it says Christopher Steele UK, so it clarifies that it's in the UK. So Loretta Lynch, Sally Yates, Bruce Orr, Christopher Steele UK, Dave Loffman. Now, I'm not sure who, Peter Strzok perhaps? I'm not sure. Peter Strzok, DLJC, not sure if that's, I'm not sure who that is. And MM, Mary McCord, Rachel Brand, and that information was flowing to Bill Clinton and back. And under the FBI, we've got James Comey, Andrew McCabe, James Rybicki, Michael Steinbuch, Bill Presap, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, James Baker, Mike Cortan, Josh Campbell, Sally Moyer, Tashina Gohar, Kevin Kleinsmith, and the information flowed both ways to Hillary, Huma Abedin, Bill Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, and that is her last name, which I can't pronounce, but that's her new last name. And it said fake news. So this is they're leaking. All of this is leaking to Hillary, Huma Abedin, Bill Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, who I assume are giving it to the fake news. I assume that's what that means. Now, then we have No Name, Media, JB, JC, Leaks, POTUS, Daily Brief, FBI. Well, I think this means McCain leaked John Brennan and James Comey's daily briefing to, daily briefing on the FBI investigation to the media. So McCain leaked John Brennan and James Comey's daily briefing on the FBI investigation to the media. Now, Fusion GPS, Shell 2, and we have Christopher Steele here in the middle, and we have No Name over here. So Christopher Steele gave info both to Fusion GPS, which is a Shell company, and to No Name, which is McCain. Old crusty eye himself, McStain. Now, what do they mean by a shell company? Well, a shell company, CIA has been known for a very, very long time to have what they call as cutout companies. And their companies really run, they appear like normal businesses, but they're not. They're run by the CIA. And I think that is why they're calling this a shell, that Fusion GPS is a shell. It's a shell company. It's not a legitimate company in the true sense of the word, but it's a CIA cutout company. And that's very easy to look up and see that has been going on for a very, very long time. Actually, that was a problem back in the Iran-Contra era. There were several cutout companies. And anyway, I think that we are being told that this applies to Fusion GPS. They're a cutout, and Chris Steele gave information both to Fusion GPS and to John McCain. And then Perkins Coie. Well, that's the law firm. Perkins Coie was used to transmit the dossier, and it is a shell company as well. It's a CIA cutout. It's not legit. So that's interesting as well. But then, wait, there's more. It slices, it dices. No, look, Washington Free Beacon. Well, it's a shell too. Washington Free Beacon, another shell CIA cutout, acted as COINTELPRO. So this isn't a free paper. It's COINTELPRO. It's a shell. Now, this, I believe, Hillary Rodham Clinton, John Podesta, Robert Mueller, DNC, and this is Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and John Clapper or James Comey, not sure there. And information flowed both ways to the UK Prime Minister, Theresa May, MI6, Secret Intelligence Service, the spy active, and it flowed both ways as well to Christopher Steele. So he's showing us the flow of information and who exactly is involved. Now, a lot of us know who is involved, but some of these people I wouldn't have known were involved. So Q is laying this all out here for us, and really there's a lot of detail here, and I bet you there's some people that are probably having heart palpitations about now. So Hillary, John Podesta, Robert Mueller, DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and John Clapper or James Comey had information. They had information both ways, flowed from them and to them from the UK Prime Minister Theresa May, MI6, Secret Intelligence Service, spy active. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by spy activity. I guess spy activity, I would think that means. And it flowed both ways from Christopher Steele, to Christopher Steele and from Christopher Steele. Now, the tarmac, and it says final meeting, no charges / drop equals Supreme Court. So Bill Clinton met with Loretta Lynch to bribe her with the Supreme Court nomination in exchange for keeping quiet. So, yeah. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this means. Go betweens, meetings 1 to 4. Not really sure. I know that this is correct interpretation here. Not exactly sure about this, but let's look at the next one. Obama issued 3 national security orders. Trump is aware of this and can move to declassified, working from bottom to top of hierarchy. This was the insurance plan, and it came straight from President Obama. Well, the then president. Now, the FISA application's faults activate domestic spy campaign. UK assist, feed to CIA, cannot operate domestically. JB. John Brennan was director of the Central Intelligence Agency from March 2013 to January 2017. So this happened under his command. And they used the UK spying agencies to assist in falsifying the entire thing because the CIA could not have legally done it, as it would have happened on American soil, which is outside the CIA's jurisdiction. You can't spy on Americans, intelligence cannot spy on Americans. So, but Five Eyes aren't covered by the Constitution of the United States, and they can. So, to get around all this, they use foreign intelligence to spy on U.S. citizens, which apparently is okay. And likewise, the U.S. spies on foreign agents and so forth and shares it with foreign governments. And that's what they do for one another. That's what Five Eyes is all about. So they used Five Eyes because the CIA would not have had jurisdiction to do that. So there you are. So the FISA applications were used to falsely activate the domestic spy campaign because they couldn't have done it any other way. They could not have spied on Trump any other way except to, use false information to activate a spy campaign, a domestic spy campaign under FISA. Now, they never thought she would lose. No, they didn't. And, for fun, I went back to the night that Trump won and the looks on people's faces. And I don't know. If you want a little bit of entertainment, perhaps you should consider doing so yourself, because it's interesting to look back and just see the looks on people's faces. Yeah. All right, let's go on. Now, Q refers to this long tweet that we just went over, and then says beneath, what assets or people were placed, and he's talking about to spy, in the POTUS campaign? Well, two that I know of were Paul Manafort and Carter Page. Those are two that I know about, but apparently there are others. So why did the news cycle drop this investigation? Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously they wouldn't want to, they want to find POTUS guilty, right, of something. They want to find him guilty of colluding with the Russians, so I don't know why they would want to out Paul Manafort and Carter Page as, that they were placed in there, because that would point more towards POTUS innocence. So, and then, Q says think several. So there's several reasons why the news dropped, why the news cycle dropped this. And what if those placed, and he's talking about those placed to spy in the POTUS campaign, those that were placed by others as plants, so to speak, are being investigated by Bob Mueller. Now, I think this is Bob Mueller. Usually, Q has used RM, Robert Mueller, but here he's saying Bob Mueller, and I don't know what else BM could mean. It certainly doesn't mean bowel movement, so I don't know. But what if those placed are being investigated by Bob Mueller? Well, are they? Because usually when Q asks a question, he's not really asking a question. So what is he telling us here? Are they being investigated? Well, wouldn't that be interesting? I think it would be absolutely fascinating. I think he's saying that those planted or placed are being investigated by Bob Mueller. And then, we've heard this before. Plants need water. Plants need water. What if others placed connect to ... future? So I don't think we can know what he means by this, because it's something to do with the future. Hasn't happened yet. But we can say that others were placed. I don't think these were just the only two. I think there were others. And he's saying, what if others placed connect to future? Now, look at this. And this is maybe one of the people that he's alluding to that were placed, because they connect to the future. Actually, now that I'm looking at this and talking out loud, I'm thinking that is probably what he's talking about and what he means. He's saying, what if others were placed because they connect to the future? They were placed in their position because they would be needed in the future. Just like Loretta Fuddy, the lady that was murdered because of Obama's birth certificate. She was murdered in Hawaii, and if you haven't seen that, I've done a video on that, which is quite interesting, I think. If I do say so myself, the information is interesting, not that I am interesting, but anyway, just like she was placed in her position because she would be needed in the future to verify this false document. What if Nellie Orr was placed in her position? And look what Q is telling us. She previously worked on the farm. Now, that's not Old MacDonald had a farm. Not that kind of farm. I don't see her out there milking cows, and no. The main CIA training compound in Virginia is called the Farm. And that is very well known. So I think that's what Q is alluding to. She was CIA. She was CIA. The start. Public justification to proceed. Clean. So public, maybe he's saying this is the start. It's public justification to proceed with the cleanup. You know, I don't know exactly what he means by this, the start. I'm thinking he's saying all of this is the start, getting all of this out, because we need to know that these people that we think, you know, like Nellie Orr, you know, I think that people might be interested to find out that she was CIA and that she worked on the farm. Just saying. I'm interested. I was very interested. So, I don't know, but your ideas and input are very welcome, as always. Now, the next one on August 9th says, the Clinton Foundation, 888-373-7888, Q. Now, this is actually the National Human Trafficking Hotline. Well, I'm not sure if where I am from here will reach it, but let's try, okay? I've got my cell phone here, and I'm pulling it up, and let me see here. Let's see if we can call it, okay? Now, 1-888-373-7888. I'm not sure if it'll work in my country, but let's go, and I'll put it on speaker so you can hear it. Hopefully you can hear it.
Hi, you have reached the National Human Trafficking Hotline. Para español, por favor, oprima uno. We operate under the federal definition of trafficking and are able to help adults and minors who have been forced to work against their will or forced to have sex for money or something of value. If you or someone you know needs immediate help, please press 2. For all other requests, please hold while we route you to the next available advocate. If this is an emergency.
And of course I hung up because I don't want to be routed to the next available advocate. But isn't that interesting? Q says, the Clinton Foundation, and then gives us the number for the National Human Trafficking Hotline. What should that tell us? Yeah, that's what I think too. They're the ones most responsible for it. They're probably the ones taking the calls. No, I'm just kidding. But really, they are responsible for a huge amount of human trafficking. All right, now let's go to the next one. And this is the first of today's posts, and it was posted at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And Q says, does POTUS make statements that are false? Well, I haven't known him to. I don't know. I'm not willing to say that the president has never lied. I don't know. If he is, then he's the first man in history, man, woman, child, human being in history, except perhaps for Christ, and look what they did to him. So, I don't know. I would say that I think that he has tried to be as transparent as possible, and I believe that he's tried to give us the truth. So that's what I believe. Knowing what you know now, and he says start at 12 minutes, and he gives us a link to a video. And then it says, think Haiti at 1440. Think Watergate Commission. Okay, well, we're going to get to that after this. Now, let's go take a look. And hang on here.
It's now my privilege.
Hang on, I want to first of all turn this down because everybody says that it's blasting them. Now let me know if this is an improvement, because I do want you to hear it, but I don't want to blast your ears. And let's go to 12 minutes. We'll go slightly before. And here we go.
Important religious matter, the issue of going to confession, or as Hillary calls it, the 4th of July weekend with FBI Director Comey. Now, I'm told Hillary went to confession before tonight's event.
Watch the
But
expressions
the priest was
here.
having a hard time when he asked her about her sins, and she said she couldn't remember 39 times. Nah. Hillary is so corrupt. She got kicked off the Watergate Commission. How corrupt do you have to be to get kicked off the Watergate Commission? Pretty corrupt. Hillary is and has been in politics since the 70s. What's her pitch? The economy is busted. The government's corrupt. Washington is failing. Vote for me. I've been working on these problems for 30 years. I can fix it, she says. I wasn't really sure if Hillary was going to be here tonight because I guess you didn't send her invitation by email. Or maybe you did and she just found out about it through the wonder of WikiLeaks. We've learned so much from WikiLeaks. For example, Hillary believes that it's vital to deceive the people by having one public policy and a totally different policy in private. That's okay. I don't know who they're angry at, Hillary, you're right. For example, here she is tonight in public pretending not to hate Catholics. Now, if some of you haven't noticed, Hillary isn't laughing as much as the rest of us. That's because she knows the jokes. And all of the jokes were given to her in advance of the dinner by Donna Brazil, which is, everyone knows, of course, Hillary's belief that it takes a village, which only makes sense, after all, in places like Haiti, where she's taken a number of them.
Bazinga.
Thank you. I don't know, and I don't want this evening without saying something nice about my opponent. Hillary's been in Washington a long time. She knows a lot about how government works. And according to her sworn testimony, Hillary has forgotten more things than most of us will ever know. That I can tell you. We're having some fun here tonight, and that's good. On a personal note, what an amazing honor it is to be with all of you. And I want to congratulate Hillary on getting the nomination, and we're in there fighting, and over the next 19 days, somebody's going to be chosen. We'll see what happens. But I have great memories of coming to this dinner with my father over the years when I was a young man. Great experience for me. This was always a special experience for him and me to be together. One thing we can all agree on is the need to support the great work that comes out of the dinner. Millions of dollars have been raised to support disadvantaged children, and I applaud the many people who have worked to make this wonderful event a critical lifeline.
Okay, I think that's it. I mean, that's the two main things that Q wanted you to see, and it is funny because when she's talking about Hillary being given the jokes in advance. Of course, we know that Donna Brazil was feeding her the questions for the debates in advance. Of course, Trump didn't have that, but Hillary was given things in advance. So he's poking fun at a lot of things. He's poking fun at the fact of Haiti. And I mean, it's amazing how many things he's touching on there that we now know. At the time when I saw this, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Now it does. It makes perfect sense to me. And, the fact that, Hillary says it takes a village, and she's taken a number of villages in Haiti. Very interesting, very interesting. So let's go back. Now, the part about the Watergate Commission, that's interesting. And I decided to look that up because I thought, is that true? I mean, if it is, that's big because, like Donald Trump said, how corrupt do you have to be removed from the Watergate Commission? Well, pretty darn corrupt. So let's take a look here. I'm just going to shut some of these down so that we have a little bit more juice. All right. Was Hillary Clinton fired from the Nixon impeachment inquiry? Washington Post fact checker Glenn Kessler gives a maximum 4 Pinocchios to the claim that Hillary Clinton was fired during the Watergate inquiry, which has gotten a lot of circulation on social media. He makes a detailed case that there is no evidence for such a firing. However, along the way, he does note some unflattering aspects of her tenure there. Now, this is a biased source. So just because this person is saying, no, she was not fired, does not mean that that's the case. But look at the things that he does reveal. It's every bit as bad. In neither of his books does Zeifman say he fired Clinton. But in 2008, a reporter named Dan Calabrese wrote an article that claimed that when the investigation was over, Zeifman fired Hillary from the committee staff and refused to give her a letter of recommendation. The article quoted Zeifman as saying she was a liar. She was an unethical, dishonest lawyer. She conspired to violate the Constitution, the rules of the House, the rules of the committee, and the rules of confidentiality. In 1999, 9 years before the Calabrese interview, Zeifman told the Scripps Howard News Agency, "If I had the power to fire her, I would have fired her." In a 2008 interview on the Neil Bortz show, Zeifman was asked directly whether he fired her. His answer, "Well, let me put it this way. I terminated her, along with some other staff members who we no longer needed, and advised her that I could not recommend her for any further positions." Now, if that is not firing someone, I don't know what is. So I think that whoever this person is from the Washington Post is talking out of both sides of their mouth, because they're saying, no, she really wasn't fired, but goes on to make very unflattering claims here. And, Zeifman was asked directly whether he fired her. I terminated her. Well, what does that mean? Means the same as fired. So it's pretty clear that Jerry Zeifman, chief counsel of the House Judiciary Committee during the Watergate inquiry, had a low opinion of the young Yale law graduate Hillary Rodham because she reported to the chief counsel of the impeachment inquiry, who was hired separately by the committee and did not report to Zeifman. Zeifman had no authority over her. He simply didn't hire her for the permanent committee staff after the impeachment inquiry ended. Kessler also noted that Clinton failed the D.C. bar exam in that period. She never retook the exam, passing the Arkansas exam instead, and concealed her failure even from her closest friends until her autobiography in 2003. So she failed the bar exam. Now, I don't know. I've never taken a bar exam, and so I'm not about to fault her on that. There are probably numerous lawyers that have failed the bar exam on the first try, and perhaps they are wonderful lawyers, but it is interesting. Now, and then there's this. Zeifman's specific beef with Clinton is rather obscure. It mostly concerns his dislike of a brief that she wrote under Doerr's direction to advance a position advocated by Rodino, which would have denied Nixon the right to counsel as the committee investigated whether to recommend impeachment. That brief may get some attention during the next few years should any member of the Clinton administration become the subject of an impeachment inquiry. Also in Sunday's Post, George Will cites James Madison's view that the power to impeach is indispensable to control of executive abuse of power. So that's interesting. Now, I didn't go out and research a whole lot about this, but this seemed pretty easy to find, so it's out there. So Trump was right. And Q says, listen very carefully. Truth, surrounded by evil. Never stop praying. Where we go one, we go all. Q. All right. Now, again, this is interesting. August 10th, and this is an Anon who has said, Hillary Rodham Clinton has taken a number of villages from Haiti. Echoing, of course, what Donald Trump just said in the video we watched. And here is March 6th post by Q, and he said, so much is open source, so much left to be connected. Why are the children in Haiti in high demand? How are they smuggled out? Adoption process, local staging ports friendly to Clinton Foundation, track donations, cross against location relative to Haiti, think logically. The choice to know will be yours. Now, I have heard why the children in Haiti are in high demand, and it has something to do with the skin tone and adrenochrome. Now, I'm not sure. I need to check this out further, okay, because it sounds really wild and out there. But I am going to check that out further because I do think we need to know. Why are they in high demand? And they certainly are. Because there's a whole whack of them missing from Haiti. And it's criminal, really, because there are any number of people in this country, in North America generally, the U.S., Canada, that would have loved to adopt a child from Haiti if the child was indeed parentless. I know I would have. I don't have children. I've never had children. And, I can't bear the thought that there are children that have no homes. It's awful because really there are so many people that are unable to have children or don't have children for one reason or another and would take a child and give it a very loving home. And so, anyway, I'm getting a little bit off there. So let's go down here, and Q on March 6th responds to this post, his other post on March 6th, and says, who are we taught to trust the most? This will not be easy. The end. Q. And of course, we're taught to trust anyone in authority. We're taught to trust clergy. We're taught to trust teachers, law enforcement. But I think that we're going to find when the whole story of Haiti comes out, I think we're going to find that it is most unpleasant. And I think that there are some people that will not want to know. I'm not even sure I would want to know all of the details. I certainly want to know what happened, but I think it's going to be pretty horrific. And I know that one person told me, and they told me that there is a port in Dominican Republic that everyone there knows the Clinton Foundation smuggles children out of that port. It's just well known there, and the locals stay away from it. So I think this is going on a lot more than we ever could have thought or imagined. Now, in response to all this, Q says, reread drops regarding Haiti. At some point, it will not be safe for them to walk down the street. Pure evil. How many in Washington and those around the world in power worship the devil? Conspiracy? Fake news? The world is watching. It is neither conspiracy nor is it fake news. And it is apparent that many in power around the world do worship the devil. And whether you believe in that or not is inconsequential. They believe in it. I certainly believe in it, But what I'm saying is it doesn't matter if you do or don't. It's they believe it. So there you go. Now, what I mean is I believe that there is a very real devil, that there is a very real enemy of our soul. There is a very real source of evil. And I that's what I meant by it doesn't matter if you believe that or not, that there is a devil or there is not. They believe it. So let's go on to the next. And this is today, 11:40 Eastern Time. And Q is saying, he puts this meme, he gives us this meme example. This is a small list of things requiring ID, but not considered racist. Purchase alcohol, purchase cigarettes, open bank account, apply for food stamps, apply for welfare, apply for Medicaid, apply for Social Security, apply for a job, apply for a mortgage, apply for unemployment, apply for a hunting license, apply for a fishing license, rent a house or apartment, buy a house or condo, drive a car, rent a car, buy a car, register a car, rent a hotel or a motel room, buy an M-rated video game, which stands for mature, board an airplane, get married, purchase a gun, purchase ammo for a gun, adopt a pet. Yes, you do have to provide identification to adopt a pet. Get a prescription, donate blood, pawn shop transactions. But somehow showing ID to vote is considered racist. How stupid is that? Pretty darn stupid. Now, let's go down here. This continues, Q's post. Dems seek GOP wipeout in California. Irving, California, hang on here. The shared workspace in a suburban office park just across the street from the University of California, Irvine, bustles with young employees walking between glass walls conference rooms with purpose. Some work for tech startups like a virtual photo booth company, others work for a gumball machine distributor, and still others work for other new type of startup that Orange County hasn't seen in recent years, a serious and professionally run Democratic congressional campaign. For generations, Orange County has been the bastion of Western conservatism, the foundation on which Republicans such as Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, and Pete Wilson built their statewide campaigns. As recently as 2000, the Republican presidential nominee, George W. Bush, spent precious time campaigning here. But after Hillary Clinton became the first Democrat to win Orange County since Franklin Roosevelt, Democrats now believe several congressional seats in the Los Angeles suburbs and exurbs are critical to their hopes of reclaiming the House of Representatives this November. They just have to learn how to run a campaign here in districts where the party has not been seriously competitive for decades, and how to overcome roadblocks Republicans have erected in the lead up to the midterm elections. We never run a top-tier, top-flight, well-funded professional campaign to win here, said Katie Porter, a law professor running against Representative Mimi Walters. Democrats are trying to learn how to build their capacity and fast. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee opened a satellite office at another suburban office park about 15 minutes away from Porter's headquarters, from which it coordinates field programs aimed at knocking on doors in critical districts. As evidence that their strategy is working, Democrats point to markedly higher turnout in June's primary election, when thousands more people than usual voted for Democratic candidates, though many were likely driven to the polls by a competitive race for governor. Porter is one of 8 Democrats running for Republican-held seats that the party sees as particularly ripe for pickups this year. Those districts represent the full scope of California's diversity, from the hot and dry Central Valley to the blooming and crowded, to the booming rather, sorry, to the booming and crowded suburbs of Los Angeles, to the pristine coastline of San Diego. 7 of the 8 districts chose Clinton over Trump in 2016. The 8th, held by Representative Devin Nunes, favored Trump by a 10-point margin. Now we know why the all-out attack on Nunes. The districts are seemingly tailor-made for Democrats in the era of Trump. The Orange County area districts are disproportionately well-educated as voters with college degrees voice opinion to the opposition to the president. Districts in the Central Valley and in eastern Los Angeles County are highly diverse as Trump alienates Hispanic and Asian American voters. And here's number 2. This is why they don't want people to have to give identification to vote. They're wanting these counties to be the Democrats to be able to win these counties, and they're highly diverse. Hispanic, Asian American. What's the likelihood that there are a lot of illegals in that area? Well, extremely high. So they want the illegals to be able to vote because they're going to vote Democrat. So if they have to show ID, they're not going to get the illegal voters or the illegal aliens to be able to vote, right? Yep. So anyway, I don't think we need to read all that. I think it's pretty obvious where it's headed and what Q is trying to say. Now, this all revolves around removing Nunes. California and New York, notorious voter fraud. Yeah, a lot of dead people voting, a lot of illegal aliens voting because they don't, if you don't have to show identification, what you could vote more than once, couldn't you? Right? If you don't have to show, you could just go around to all the voting booths and vote, I guess. I don't know. I never voted in the States because I am a legal alien, but legal aliens still don't have the right to vote, or didn't. I don't know if that's changed, but they didn't. Now, I could have walked into anywhere and voted because nobody ever checked, but I didn't. I knew that was the rule, and I stuck to it because I wanted to be legally, do everything legally and above board, which I did. When I immigrated, I did everything legally and above board. Anyway, controlled and coordinated by corrupt, plus so-called volunteers, state officials. Logical thinking. Why are the Democrats opposed to implementing voter ID law? Well, we know. We know why. Because who will it benefit? It will benefit the Democrats because a lot of the the illegal aliens are voting Democrat. So it will benefit the Republicans, and the Democrats will lose some of their voter bloc. So that's exactly why. And I think we all know it. And here, August 10th, Q says they never thought she would lose. Now they all lose. Q plus. So this is the Q team. Now, in between this and the next post, you'll see there's one missing. This is 1834, and we jump to 1835. What's up with that? Well, the board was compromised, and there was a very strange post that happened. It was a black and yellow checkered flag that meant something about a ship being quarantined, and then it had a link that led you to a paste bin and a whole thing about basically what was wrong with Q. And it was not Q posting. They posted under Q's trip code, except it had a space in front. So it was really not Q's trip code, but it kind of looked like it. And it has now been removed, and so I removed it as well. I don't think that there's any need for us to look at it, since we know it didn't come from Q and that the board was under attack and still is. There's a lot of shills over there and clowns. Shills and clowns, which can sometimes be the same thing. All right, now, so here Q is saying new trip confirmed, PF safe, and I don't know what PF I'm having a little bit of brain fade here, and that's not coming to me what PF is, but it says safe. Then Q says, Patriots, we are under extreme heavy attack by 3 intel agencies, foreign and domestic. We are in communication coordination with necessary divisions. Stay strong, stay together, Q. All right, so he's encouraging the board, all of us that pay attention to the board, those of us following Q, to stay strong, stay together. They're under attack, and they are. They're under extreme attack, and they're saying that there are 3 intel agencies involved, foreign and domestic. But he said we're in communication coordination with necessary divisions, so we don't have anything to worry about. It's all under control. Stay strong, stay together. Then the next, I don't believe is for us. I think that this is a code meant for someone, but I don't know who, and I don't know what it means. But it's code AB, a bunch of letters, and then it says Q at the end, 282-18-2983-821. I don't know what any of this means. And then then Q says distress. Check in 00.00 plus. And then he's got numbers here. He says root T, Q. Now, we can surmise what this means all day long, but I don't think it's meant for us. It's not meant for us because there are other people communicating on that board, and whoever Q is communicating knows full well they're being communicated with. So that's all we need to know. If you have any ideas other than that, I'm more than open to hearing them. Now, here is the next one, and it says packet. It looks like headquarters to me, and a number, and then it says Q. So again, I think that this is not meant for us. It's meant for someone else. And then Q says the following, and this is the last post. It was posted at 15:15 Eastern Time. When I started this video, this was the last post. It may still be. I'm not sure. If there are other posts, I will try to bring them to you this evening. But as far as I know, this is the very last post for today. And he said fishing is fun, but he put fish around there with a kill bracket. So that's interesting. Not sure what that means, but I would be really interested to know what you think it means. These people are stupid. We all know what that means. Q. So that is the post for this evening. It's 9:16 Eastern Time, so this has been a long video, and I do apologize for that, but I think it was necessary to go over all of this. And I thank you guys for listening. I think I have the best listeners on YouTube, bar none. But I appreciate you all. If you want to if you want to subscribe, make sure you stay subscribed because they do regularly kick people off. And also, if you want to be notified, hit the bell. So I hope you have a wonderful evening, and please stay safe.